Hello everyone, Ugodre here, and this is my Money Brief. So on this episode of Money Brief, I want to touch on something that um, recently happened. There was an announcement by the central bank that they were going to access some of the money that we have in our dormant accounts. Yep, dormant accounts, and that they were going to invest that money in treasury bills. I have it right here on my screen, and other eligible government securities. So essentially, the government wants to take some of that money that has been lying in accounts, probably owned by dead people or owned by people who don't even know they have money in there, or people who just really don't care about the money they have in their dormant accounts. And then they're going to pool that money and invest it in government treasury bills, essentially government borrowing. So government would borrow that money from you if you are one of those who have money in dormant account. But just to also try to explain what they're trying to do, they said that it's not all the monies in dormant accounts. There were clear conditions. Firstly, they mentioned it has to be an account that has been dormant for 10 years and above, 10 years plus. Let me be sure. Let me just read it out. So it says here that the money is going to be in the account, must have been in a dorm account for 10 years, 10 full years plus. They also don't plan to access money that is under any kind of litigation, or maybe money that is encumbered. That is money that is under investigation by any authority. And encumbered means maybe money that the bank has essentially maybe seized, or maybe it's under a lien of a bank. So that won't form part of it. It won't form part of the money that they're going to want to access. However, but for those that are not on this exclusive list, which includes your current account, your savings account, term deposits, even money in your domiciliary account. Yes. So money in your dollar account that you don't use or you haven't used for 10 years plus essentially falls under this bucket. And then, of course, prepaid card accounts as well would also be one of those money that they will use. They also mentioned here that other financial assets eligible under these guidelines include proceeds from unclaimed financial instruments, unclaimed salaries, wages, and bonuses, among others. So, in a nutshell, if you have money that you don't know what to do with it, even if it's 1,000 naira, because a lot of us, I still remember my NYSC account of like almost 2 decades ago. I don't recall closing that account, so maybe there's some 500-600 naira or 1K or 1.5 there. I don't know. So that money, essentially, if I don't go and close it, the Apex Bank or the central bank is essentially going to borrow that money and put it to use. I guess the question is, what has that money been doing anyways? Is it that money hasn't been put to use before? I doubt it. I think that a lot of banks have always used that money for banking business. So it's just basically free float for those banks. And so typically the banks take that money and use it. Either they use it in lending, doing their lending business, or they even perhaps invest it in treasury bills as well. And then the banks keep all those returns and share it with their shareholders for the ones that they want to share with their shareholders. So that is what I think has been happening to monies that we've had in dormant accounts for years, and that's how it's essentially worked. But this time around, it looks like the central bank is suggesting that banks will no longer be the ones to use that money. So they want to now use that money themselves. So they want to go in there and take that money and lend it or borrow it from you. I guess there's got to be some kind of law that will back this up, because I really don't know if this is allowed by law. So I guess some people might want to challenge it at some point. Interesting to see how this unfolds, but this is quite unprecedented in Nigeria. Never seen this happen before, at least. I've been tracking this economy for a little over almost 2 decades now, and I don't think that I've seen or heard anything close to this. So I'm not sure if there's any precedent in other countries, but I'll probably check that out and, of course, let you guys know. But this is fairly strange and fairly interesting development in Nigeria, Nigerian economy, Nigerian financial sector. I haven't also heard responses from banks. I guess very soon we'll start hearing what banks would say, and even lawyers and the entire consulting industry will also have some points as well. I did get a few calls from some banks reminding me of some dormant account that I've had. I don't know whether it's a coincidence, but I don't know if you also had those calls. But then I'm just wondering, where are we going with all of this, though? Like, where's this all going to? So, I don't know. The interesting thing is that at least it's not a tax. They're not taxing it, but they are taking it and using it, with or without, your consent or my consent, basically. Maybe it's lost and found money, I guess, or maybe it's lost money. But then, where does this all end? Or is this just the beginning? I don't know. Are there other things that we might see like this that the government might want to perhaps put to better use? Could it be real estate? Could it be investment in stocks that nobody has claimed? What about unclaimed dividend as well? There's been talk about what to do with billions of naira in unclaimed dividends that's just lying there. We don't know. Is that going to also be securitized like this and put into use by the government? So many questions. But anyway, I think it's pretty clear. So if you have money in dormant account that is less than 10 years, I don't think you should be worried. It is if you have 10 years and above, or maybe you have a relative or someone who has got money in there 10 years above. If you don't want them to take that money, you have to contact your bank and try to reactivate that account. Perhaps put that money to use yourself, and then nobody's going to come after your money. But if the money is there and it's not being put to use by you or by anyone close to you, or that you've given authority to use it, then the government is basically saying, we're going to use that money for Nigeria via or treasury bills and any government security. All right, that's my money brief for today. If you got contributions or maybe more questions or angles that maybe I missed out, please share.